So it's New Year's Day, and I was just in the gym. I just came out, just finished, and seeing all the people with the New Year's resolutions, new goals, really made me think about my goals and kind of how I set my goals, the strategy I use, and what works for me and what hasn't. Because you see so many people, I'm going to use the gym as an example, come in, they work out, and they maybe stay for a week or two, and then they fall off. Now, why is that? Is it because they get tired of it, they don't like it? Is it because that goal isn't actually a goal they actually want? Is it they don't see results quick enough? It could be a variety of them, and they translate over to entrepreneurship, to business, to personal goals, whatever it is. So if I had a goal and I wasn't seeing results in a time I thought I would probably get discouraged and slow down with that goal or even stop. And that's the perfect example of the gym. It's super busy, and then 2 weeks later, it stops being busy. So it made me think about my goals and kind of how I set them, how I think about them. And I figured you guys would benefit from this advice as well. So the way I set my goals is, you guys have probably heard of SMART goals. I do kind of a version of that. If you don't know what SMART goals are, it's an acronym. Your goal needs to be specific. So if I said, I'm going to use the gym as an example, I want to look good. Okay, that's very general. What does that mean? What weight do I want to be? What do I want to focus on? What's my time frame? So it needs to be specific. Now, M for SMART means it needs to be measurable. So how am I measuring that goal? If I say I want to look good, how do I measure that? Yeah, I can look in the mirror, but it's very general. What am I basing it off of? I want to be this weight or this body fat or gain this much muscle. And next, after that, it needs to be attainable. It needs to be kind of possible. You can't say I want to put on 20 pounds of muscle in a month. Obviously, something like that's not going to happen. It's not possible. R for SMART is realistic. It needs to be realistic. Like I said, putting on 20 pounds of muscle in a month isn't realistic. Maybe putting on 10 pounds of muscle in your first year of lifting, that's very realistic. That could be a good goal. Again, it needs to be specific. You need to be able to measure it. You need to be able to attain it. And it has to be realistic. Now, the last one is T, and that just means time oriented. It needs to have a specific date you want to hit that by. You can't say, I want to look good. You can say, I want to gain 10 pounds of muscle and lose 5 pounds of body fat by December 31st, 2019. Now, that would be a good goal. Now, I know a lot of you know these SMART goals, and that's not just what this video is about. It's also about the different strategies I use. So I use those SMART goals in general, but one of the things I really like to do is I'll have different categories for goals. I'll have goals that are, I'm going to switch this to entrepreneurship. I'll have goals that are financial. I want to make a certain amount, that are result oriented. And then I'll have goals that are action oriented. So it's me completing something. So let's say my goal is to start an Amazon business and to make $10,000 a month by December 31st, 2019 consistently. So if that's my goal, my result-based goals will be, okay, I want to make 10,000 profit a month by December 31st. I want to make 1,000 profit a month by maybe the third month in. But my action-based goals would be, okay, what gets me to those result-based goals? Well, what actions can I take to move forward? So if that Amazon business to make 10,000 a month was my goal, I'd say, okay, what can I do to get me there? Maybe I'll spend 5 hours doing product research every month, and I'll spend an hour doing this. Or let's say I'll sort through 100 different products each week, look through them, pull numbers. Those are things you can do no matter what. Those goals, no one can stop you. If you don't do those and you fail at those goals, that is your own fault because it's action-based. There's no really outside factors. I know I can spend an hour or sort through 100 products a week for doing product research. I don't 100% know I can make $10,000 a month. There might be things that come up. There might be different things I have to learn. I might do something wrong, but the actions you can always do. And that's why it's good to have both. And on top of that, I'll also have goals that are very, very, not unrealistic, but I call them kind of dream goals where I don't expect to hit them, but if I hit them, it'll be great. Perfect example was 2 years ago, or maybe last year. Last year, my goal was to make 300,000, I think it was. And I set my dream goal to make $1 million, which I didn't think I would do. And I ended up making just under 3 million, which is crazy, but it's good to have those dream goals because then you putting it out there saying that makes you feel like it is attainable. Because It really is. It might not be realistic at the time, but it still can be possible. And it's not one you get super disappointed if you don't hit. Now, the financial numbers, let's say your goal is to make 1,000 profit a month, then 5,000, then 10,000, then 50,000. It's okay if you don't hit those. Obviously, you want to hit those. Those are probably the goals you want the most. But if you're following those action goals and you don't hit those, you do have to kind of review and say, what am I doing wrong? Why didn't I hit those goals? What am I doing that works for me? What didn't? So as we start this new year, you guys need to look, if you set goals last year, if you try to do certain things, what worked for you? What didn't work for you? Did you set goals that were too unrealistic? Maybe you didn't have the time you wanted. You didn't have the resources you needed. And what worked for you? Were you able to, did setting small, really easy goals at first help you? And if setting those small, easy goals did help you, then how are you going to recreate that with your new goals? Or maybe you even have the same goal as last year. And if you do, that's fine. There's a lot of goals I set last year I didn't achieve. Honestly, I didn't achieve 70% of my goals. And the reason being, a lot of them were result-based. Some were action-based, and I didn't achieve those either because there was certain things. There's no reason. It's my own fault for not doing those action goals, which might be a reason for the result goals. But you will have to adjust your goals. Things change throughout the year. You might set goals and say, oh, I want to start this kind of business. And then you do some research and realize, oh, that business sucks. I don't want to start that. Maybe I should do this. And if your goals change, that's fine. They're going to. They should. You need to be able to adjust them. And a perfect example was this entire last year, 2018. I started off and my goal was to make more than the last year, which I did not do. But there was a lot of stuff that I needed to learn. So a lot of 2018, probably 80% of the work I did was learning, was researching, and strategizing for this next year, because it's all about the long term. It's not about how much I can make in the next month or two. It's about longevity. What business am I creating? What's it going to be worth? And how I can build more long-term value for myself. So you will have to change your goals around. You will fail some of your goals. And if you do, you have to ask yourself why. And the reason that I believe I failed my goals last year, or a lot of them, was the fact that they were not too far out there, but the framework and whatnot was not in place yet for what I needed. The resources and kind of the knowledge I needed to get there was not there yet. And that's why this entire last year, I'd say 80% of it, was put towards learning those skills to do that this next year, learning different strategies, gathering resources of what I need, and putting together a whole action plan so I can go and achieve that in 2019. So imagine taking an entire year and saying, I'm not going to worry about how much I'm making. I'm not going to worry about kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm going to make an entire plan and learn and do things that will give me results in a year or two. It's hard to do. It's what you need to do. And you can't stop learning once you achieve your goals. Once you start achieving your goals at all, you're going to have to go and learn more than you did at the start in order to get those results. It's not you're successful and now you're successful forever. It doesn't work like that. You have to work harder to maintain them than you did to get there. You have to learn more. You have to use more resources. Now, will it always be like that? Yes, you're always going to have to keep learning. There are things that will be on autopilot, but they will slowly fade over time, and you will have to keep up with them. You will have to innovate and kind of rethink those goals. And once you find success, you will have to constantly adapt. It's like changing your goals around. Things change. Nothing stays the same. Things might stay the same for a couple months, a year, but then you will have to learn and adapt and change some things. And if you're not learning while things are successful for that year, let's say it stays the same for a year, if you're not learning during that, you're going to be behind when things already change. And it might take you an entire year to go learn those things and find those strategies and put them into place. So it's very important that you're always learning, even if you do find success with your goals. It's vital. Otherwise, you'll find success and then you'll start failing and you'll drop out of it. One thing that does come with success is that you kind of build that confidence, and you get that you can go out and do anything. So if it's in the entrepreneur space, I feel like I can go start any business and make it successful because of the core kind of things I've learned about business, about marketing, about advertising, whatever it is, sales. If you learn those core things, a lot of them translate into other things. And once you find that success, you have that confidence to go and start other businesses. But one thing I see a lot of people do is they'll have too many different goals. I want to start an Amazon business. I want to start a dropshipping business. I want to start affiliate marketing. I want to start YouTube all at the same time. You need to have one thing that is your main focus. And you might be able to have side things, but everything can't be equal. There has to be one that is your main thing. Let's say you want to start a YouTube channel and you want to start an Amazon business. The Amazon business needs to be your priority. And then YouTube, if you have extra time, that is what that extra time goes towards. It's not, okay, I need to work on my YouTube more and let my Amazon suffer a little bit for a little, because then you're going to have two mediocre things. Now, once your Amazon business is successful, it's up and running, then maybe you can move more time and focus on that while it's on the back burner, but you do have to keep learning and just adjusting, like I said, learning. So those are kind of the strategies I use to set my goals. I hope it helped you guys out and you guys can start 2019 on a good note. If you don't have goals, please make some, like I said, some result-based, some action-based, and business and personal goals. So that's what I've done. It's really helped me. I hope it helped you guys too. You guys can write down some goals. Let me know in the comments what your goals are. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.